Outgoing Auditor-General Terence Nombembe's latest report on national and provincial government expenditure has revealed that government wasted more than 30 billion rand in the last financial year. This staggering wastage is made up of irregular expenditure of 26 billion rand, unauthorized expenditure of 2.3 billion rand, and fruitless and wasteful expenditure of more than 2 billion rand. Only 22% of those government entities audited received clean records. My guest today is Outgoing Auditor-General Terence Nombembe. Auditor General, welcome to the show. I have to say, I mean, when I read that intro, and I think we can talk about the numbers. It could be 100 million. The real problem here is that there's no accountability. No one is being prosecuted for this stuff.
Now, you're right. I mean, the underlying causes that we also make reference to are largely threefold. One is the tone that the leadership sets in order to deal with the issues that need to be done in order to purify the systems of governance. The second one is the issues of consequences. But thirdly is the issue of the skill set and the competencies that are required. But these vary from department to department. So there's no one linear kind of measure that we can attribute to the whole of government. They vary from department to department, province to province.
Has there been a matter of sadness for you, a matter of frustration for you, that there is not that tone that is set from the top is not of the nature that you'd like to see? I refer here, let me be blunt about it. I look at an issue like Nkandla, that's only 206 million rand, right? There's been investigations, there's been from the Department of Public Works that actually, yes, prices were inflated and so forth, but we haven't seen action being taken on that.
Well, that's understandable because investigations are still underway by the public protector on that matter. But at least it is known what it is that is being investigated. And hopefully once that report is finalized, there will be the necessary actions that will be taken. At least from the tone of the minister, it is clear that there is a determination to act on those findings.
I would put it to you that actually from the minister and the whole security cluster, there seems to be a determination to frustrate and stall this report actually seeing the light of day.
I'm not sure about that, but let's not debate the issue because I'm not part of it.
You are the Auditor General. You will have to, well, until your term comes to an end, this is something that your successor may have to look at.
Now, my view is that it's a question of finding a common ground in terms of what are the issues that need to be put in the open in order to safeguard the issues of security of the president. I mean, it's something that is also part of our own legislation as well. When we look at information and issues that have got a security sensitivity, we do make sure that those are not put recklessly in the public domain.
If people continue to do what you point out in this report, the irregular expenditure, the fruitless and wasteful expenditure of 2 billion rand, we have a piece of legislation, the Public Finance Management Act. Why aren't we seeing prosecutions in terms of that act?
I think it's the question of there being a lack of consequences. And the dialogue that we are nurturing with the leadership, I believe that is getting closer to acting on those issues, because the fact that those numbers are constantly in the public spotlight does help to trigger the consciousness and the conscience, by the way, as well, to act on those issues. And they're not going to go away, by the way, until such time as something has been done about them.
I look at your report and I think, no, it doesn't seem like it's getting better at all. Are you feeling positive?
The other factor that's giving rise to the numbers also rising is the fact that the departments on their own are beginning now to reveal these numbers voluntarily. It's no longer now a case of these being picked up only at the time of the audit. We still have those instances, but the departments are also doing a great deal to deal with those issues.
Well, I don't know. Only 3 national departments received clean audits. I would say to you, no, actually this is terrible. These guys are just not getting on board with what you've been telling them for years, for your whole 7-year term.
Justice, the issue here is that, yes, only 3 departments have got clean audits, and there's a bunch of departments that are getting their financial statements properly and fairly stated. But the only concern we have here is the fact that that is achieved riding on the back of the audit cycle. We just need to get those internal controls to be intensified so that the quality of what we get, whether it's service delivery reports, whether it's financial reports, whether it's adherence to the rule of law, is all meeting the criteria that will give that full clean, the bill of clean bill of health, which we refer to as a clean audit.
When you look at that number, the 2 billion rand that has been wasted in what you describe as fruitless and wasteful expenditure, that's a 43% rise in fruitless and wasteful expenditure. That is very bad.
It is high. And also the factor you also need to look at here is who discovers it. Is it the auditors or is it the departments themselves? And we should rejoice at the fact that the bulk of it is picked up by the departments. All we need to do is to now intensify the methods that will prevent that kind of occurrence, so that in keeping with what the Minister of Finance has made reference to in the last few weeks, we are able to see more efficiencies and more care in the way in which the public purse is being administered.
Give me 3 things that government should do to help me and you and your successor next year that we don't. Because I remember last year we had exactly this conversation here and I wanted to cry and you looked pretty depressed yourself, and here we are again. What are the 3 things that this government should do that are to stop this kind of thing?
Yeah. Let me mention one thing which is beginning to happen at the moment, is the fact that the time that the leadership is making available to talk about these issues is becoming more and more available, as opposed to the past when we had limited time to converse with the government leadership about these issues, both at the level of the legislatures, and getting those public accounts committees as well as portfolio committees to coordinate on curbing the weaknesses in internal controls. That has got to happen as well at the level of the executive. If they can do just that, we'll be able to conquer most of the troubles that we discover.
Now, Auditor-General, a lot of people have said you've been fantastic, you've done your 7 years in office, but a lot of people want to know, a lot of people are saying Terence Nombembe for president. What's your next step? What are you going to do now?
Well, I'm still in the exploratory phase, and I'm hoping that in the next few weeks, I'll be able to make up my mind in terms of the options that are at my disposal. And when I've made that decision, I guess I'll be the first one to come and talk to you about it.
Is it likely to be in the public sector?
Not necessarily, but I would like to still make a contribution in the public service. The job that I've been doing for the past 7 years and 13 years in total in the office of the AG has been quite inspirational in terms of the opportunities that can be optimized within the public service.
Terence Nombembe, Auditor-General, thanks so much and good luck with your future.
Thanks so much, Betty.
After the break, our winner and loser of the week. Stay with us.
News that moves. ENCA.com.